Welcome back to the Mind Goals podcast, hosted by yours truly, Siobhan Higgins, sport and performance psychology consultant, professional soccer player, and yoga instructor. The Mind Goals podcast is a space that I've dedicated to hold for myself, other athletes, and other athletic personnel to be able to discuss the mindset of what it took to get where we are today. So, with that being said, the goal of this podcast and any episode is for any individual, whether you're an athlete or not, to be able to take away something valuable and be able to eventually improve your own mindset. So today we have a new topic of discussion. We're going to discuss the transition between being a professional athlete and then turning into a social media influencer. So we have a really special guest today, none other than my friend, former professional soccer player for Club America and current professional social media influencer, Jen Munoz.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
Yay! Welcome.
Thanks.
I always do my welcome like that. I'm so happy to have you here and finally track you down because you are all over the world.
Yes,
Yeah.
I weirdly am. Not all over the world, I wish, but maybe all over the United States. I feel like I go back and forth from California to Houston so much.
Yeah. And I'm going to ask, obviously, I know you're from California, but I'll get more into that in a second. But I like to start by introducing my guests and how we met. So I'll give my little point of view and then you can give your point of view. But Jen and I met 2 years ago over the summer when we were both working at an ECNL event. And for those of you who don't know, ECNL is a soccer league that stands for Elite Club National League. And I was working with the referee assigner, somebody who assigns all the referees for that tournament. And I believe you were working with Ata.
Ata, yes.
Is Ata still in business at that time?
Ata is not a thing anymore. I think they were bought out by someone else. But
Okay.
yeah, I was with them at the time.
And what were you doing for them at the time?
I was kind of like their ambassador, so I did a lot of their social media with our good mutual friend Talia.
Yeah.
I miss her so much. But she was awesome. The whole organization was awesome. It was basically centered around improving the viewership of women's soccer,
Yeah.
and then also making it super fun. So they invited me to come to the tournament and talk to the girls and just record content, which was super easy. And then thankfully met you. So
And it was
that was
so fun.
Yeah.
And also, like, out of all places, we met in Virginia. I had
Oh
never.
my gosh, yeah.
I had never been to Virginia prior to that. I don't know if you had.
For
but-
soccer, obviously. But
Okay,
that's
yes.
about it.
Yeah, yeah. I know we've been so many places like for soccer. Sometimes I don't count those because you don't get to explore that much.
No. And it's Virginia.
Yeah. No offense.
No offense.
We're from like the South and she's
Yeah.
from the West. So.
Yeah. Very different.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember posting up in one of the tents to like charge my equipment and take a breather. And I sat down and you were with Talia and I just was sitting here and I'm pretty chatty. And I was like, this girl kind of looks familiar. And I don't know if I told you this, but I think I did recognize you from my friend Marilyn's Instagram. And I was like, I went to her Instagram and looked and I was like,
I love that.
okay, yes. And so I noticed that, but I still did ask. I was like, you look familiar.
But I remember you saying it so like, you're so precious. You're just like, I like, you look so familiar. I'm like, oh my God. Do I know her? Like,
Because at first I was like, I confirmed after, but I was
Yeah.
like, I think you look familiar. I don't know if I played you or like know someone that played with you, and it was someone who played with you. And I just think it's so funny. The world is so small. Like Marilyn Campa now plays in Mexico still. I think do you know who she's with right now?
I think she's with Pumas. I might be wrong. But she played with her, actually. She was on Club America for like a year or two.
Yeah.
And then she transferred to Pumas.
Okay. And I think she might be with Toluca right now.
Oh, you're right, actually.
At the moment.
I think
she
so.
has moved a little.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mars.
Yeah. Hi, Mars.
But yeah, that's how we made a connection. And then you and Talia were so nice and invited me to dinner and we just like bonded.
We
and
literally
kept in
became
touch.
best friends.
Yeah.
At that dinner, had a group chat right away. Like
Yeah.
that group chat went on for a year.
Yeah.
I remember I'm really bad at my phone, so is Talia, but you're awesome. I like updating people and like your friends. And it was so fun to like live through your life via text.
I appreciate that
It's
because
crazy.
a lot of people I meet don't live near me. And so
Yeah.
in order to like keep everyone somewhat updated, I am that friend that reaches out, or like if I'm thinking of you, I'll shoot you a text, or
I
like,
love that.
I want to update this person. So I'll reach out.
We need more people like you in
I'm,
this world.
I'm over social sometimes.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, so it was really fun. We kept in contact, and then you found yourself in Houston. When was that? Like this year, right?
That was when was that? That was like technically the first season. So when does that start? Like preseason for the Dynamo was when? March? Like probably March 2 Marches ago.
Oh, okay.
I might be wrong.
And I was gone because I was playing abroad at that time. And then I didn't come back until last year.
Oh my God. And I was so thankful when you got back. Yes.
Yeah, you were like, okay.
Wait, but you forgot. I feel like we have an invisible string theory because
yes, tell him.
We met each other. We didn't meet, but we were in the same tryout for the dash.
Yes.
I was like out of college.
Yeah. Maybe
so what year was that?
2018 or 2019? Probably 2019, like early spring, because I graduated in the fall of 2018.
Yeah, but we would have never found out except you had a picture of us, right? And I was in the background or one or the other.
Yeah, and this is actually so funny. We were both at the dash tryout, like an open tryout, and I had a picture of us running. I think it was from the website. But this was so weird. Randomly during this tryout, which I feel like is rare, they made us get on the line and run 120.
Oh my God. Yeah. That was insane. I think that's the only thing I remember from that tryout, to be honest. I don't remember anything else.
I was like, how many are we doing and why are we doing this?
Yeah. And I love how we were right next to each other or maybe like close by.
Like a couple people.
Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah. So when I looked back recently when we were already friends, I was like, wait, is that Jen?
Yeah. You're like, wait a second.
And I said it too.
Yeah.
So
that
I think
was cool.
Yeah. I just think it's funny, like the way that we are all like connected, especially we always say this, but in the world of soccer, like someone that I know that plays or like is close, and
it's so small.
Yes.
Like it's so extremely small. Even like not just in Texas, but in California, Arizona, everywhere.
Yeah. Because Katie as well. Like, have you trained with her? Katie? Or didn't you train with Ballsy?
Yes. And I know her through another different story.
Yeah.
Insane.
Wow. Yeah. So yeah, there we are.
Yeah. So there we are. Soccer small.
Yeah. So that's how Jen and I met. We've kept in touch, and now she finds herself in Houston because she's dating Tate Schmidt, who plays for the Houston Dynamo.
Go Dynamo. Yeah. So I've been here for about 2 years now. Originally from California. Now I live here, and I would say I'm back and forth. I don't officially live here, but I'm really happy because you're here, and I feel like it's like a sense of comfortability here where I'm not home. I don't have any family here. So.
Yeah, it's tough moving to new places. I've done it a handful of times for soccer, but yeah, it's nice to be like, okay, I know someone. Let's see if like we get along, because it's difficult. We're adults. Like,
adult friendships are hard.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I feel like it's so hard to like. It's also scheduling so much harder. It's not like
definitely
when you're kids.
Yeah. Or if you're just like at the time my job was just soccer, and I'm like, okay, I'm done with practice now, I have stuff to do. Now it's like things all over the place, other obligations, but scheduling is hard as adults.
Different times of the day.
Sure. We literally had to pencil this in, and like our next
no,
hangout is going to be on my calendar.
No, I know, it's like next Sunday.
Exactly. Yeah. Precisely. But I do want to get into more about you and what you're doing right now, so that the viewers can get to know why you are a great person and a great person in the social media world as well.
Thank you.
So you did mention that you're from California. Is that where you spent most of your time, and is that where you grew up? Yeah,
so I grew up in, it's always a hard question for me just because I grew up in LA, but I also grew up in Orange County.
Okay.
So born in LA pretty much up until middle school, and then when I was in middle school, my parents actually moved us to Orange County solely for soccer reasons. So my club team was in Orange County. My mom and my dad would like make the drive every day. Once, like I think it was like an hour and a half. LA traffic is crazy. So that was hard on them. I remember just like, finishing school, eat in the car, homework in the car, go practice or do private training, one or the other. And then I would come back in the car, same thing, dinner, homework, go to bed, or come home, do more homework, go to bed. So I think that was, at the time I didn't care, I was a kid, but I think now as an adult looking back at my parents and what they did, I'm like, oh my God, no wonder you guys moved. But it was such a good move, I feel like, for like environment reasons. I think Orange County is definitely a little more safer than where we used to live. It was away from like my grandparents and stuff, but other than that, I pretty much LA and Orange County, grew up there.
Very cool. Were you born in California?
Born in California, yeah.
Okay.
Born and raised Cali girl.
I've only been to California once. I know. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, I've only been in San Francisco for like 3 days. I know. I have to go back. I have to go sometime.
Side note, we'll talk about this later, but like you would love California.
I'm sure I would. The weather, it looks beautiful.
The beach.
Beach. I love the beach.
The people, the food, everything. The weather.
I think making a trip soon.
No, you
it sounds
should.
like.
You and Shane.
Yeah. When did you start playing soccer?
I started playing when I was probably 4,
Wow.
but that wasn't like my go-to sport. I would say I tried ballet. I was a ballet girl, so I had to choose between ballet and soccer.
When did you make that decision?
I think around 10.
Okay.
So it was either play competitively or dance competitively. Yeah, and I obviously chose soccer, thank God. And then, yeah, I think it was like up until middle school, I still was in like recreational volleyball, like basketball, stuff like that. But obviously soccer was like my forte.
Yeah. Do you think you were better at it or you just enjoyed it more?
I think it was a little bit of both. So I thought, also a big part, my grandpa, huge soccer fan, like huge, like would watch Club America games when I was little. And so I think that kind of like, I was like, oh, this is a soccer family. Like,
Yeah.
gotta make them proud, you know? So
Yeah.
kind of stepped into that path, I would say, pretty easily.
I feel that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, my sports were actually like I did try everything, but I was choosing between basketball and soccer.
Oh, really?
And yeah, my I know I like both of them. I feel like I was probably the same at both, but I like soccer more from the social aspect, and I think being outside I liked.
Yeah. And the team kind of
Yes.
aspect of things.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it a lot. And also my like similar to you, I grew up watching soccer a lot. It was Man United because my dad's a huge Man U fan.
Oh, no.
I know, so that's why we have beef because I'm like now a Man City fan. But I'd grow up like waking up on Saturday, Sunday morning at like 6 a.m. to like people screaming downstairs because the Premier League was on, because over there in the UK it starts at like at 2-3 p.m.
Yeah.
So for us it's early, but I can relate with soccer all the time.
Yeah. Just like a family built on soccer. And then you
Yes.
go to like family parties and then they'd play soccer outside.
Yep.
And I only have one girl cousin, so I have a family full of boy cousins. So that kind of helped me also kind of like step into that athletic realm, which I'm happy that I did, because I feel like I could easily have fallen into the ballet route and probably would have died off, you know? So
Yeah, I feel that. And like for me, when I was at recess or like playing on the playground, it was just me, like the only girl.
Yeah.
And then all these boys,
Yeah.
and I was like, whatever.
exactly. Would you say that you're like shy when you were little, or extrovert? You were extrovert.
I've always just been extroverted. Were you shy when you were little?
Yeah, I feel like I was like, when you say that, I'm like, I wanted to, but I don't think I ever like, can I play? You know, like it was different.
Okay, this is probably comes as no news, but I was a tomboy when I was little.
Of course.
And I like jokingly was like a little boy. Like I didn't care about, I was like, do not put a bow in my hair. I am not wearing a dress. I would literally wear like cargo shorts that were made for boys.
Oh my God,
I'm not
I
pulling
love
up any
that.
pictures. I looked like a boy. I hated dresses. Like my hair was always up. Like I was always sweaty because I wanted to do recess and everything. So
Did you play with dolls at all, or?
I did. I actually did. I liked
okay.
dolls. I played with like Bratz and Barbies and like, but I also did video games. But for me in my cul-de-sac where I grew up, I was like the only girl on my street other than my sister. And she liked watching TV instead of going outside getting sweaty. So understandable.
Yeah, I'm sure your parents love that from you though.
Yeah. But I feel like that was a big influence for me. Like I didn't have any brothers. I just had one sister. And so, and no cousins in America. So yeah, they all live overseas.
Oh,
Yeah.
where?
In Ecuador. And then,
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, actually only in Ecuador. My uncle didn't have any kids. And so, yeah. But for me, yeah, I can relate again. And just like meshing with the boys. And it's, you know, soccer was notoriously like just for boys. It's not now.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been really cool to see the development of it.
No, yeah, I think that since, I mean, this, I'm sure we're going to talk about this, but I feel like in Mexico too, I
Yep.
mean, when I first entered that, what was it, first year professional soccer, it was okay. Like the level wasn't like, oh my God, pro, but I think the team I was on was high level. Obviously there's teams in the leagues, as in every other league, who are less funded
Yes.
than we were.
Yeah.
And that's a little bit unfortunate, but now seeing it grow so much, like there's European players that play in Mexico, would have never have thought like they would transfer over to Mexico. But
Yeah.
also the viewership the numbers are insane.
Yes.
I think it's growing, but it's going to keep growing. So I'm really excited to see that.
Exactly. Yeah. And I will touch on that later as well. But no, definitely. I'm just kidding. But yeah, it was such a barrier that we had to overcome, and just like hearing the pros before us, like the older ones, say that, you know, they've paved the way for us, and we're still paving the way for other athletes
exactly.
as well. We're contributing. So
imagine if we had NIL in college.
Oh, don't get me started.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, I'm like, you guys could have just bumped it up a few years.
I know. It was like the year after we left, right? Or 2 years?
I would say 2 years.
That hurt.
2 or 3 years.
That hurt.
Yeah.
NCAA.
Yeah, come on. Could add some stars.
But you're technically doing what you would have been doing, right?
True. But no, that's a very good point. Yeah.
So it works.
It works out. Everything happens for a reason.
Yes. A few more questions before we dive into kind of what you're doing. But first, where did you play in college?
Ooh, University of New Mexico. Go Lobos. I always say this, but it's every time I say it, I'm like surprised too, because I'm like, why would I ever go to New Mexico? I ended up loving New Mexico. The state's beautiful. The people are amazing. It's a different culture than California, obviously, just like every state. But it was such a college town, and I really felt like I was part of something bigger. I know that's so cliche to say, but it was like insanely probably the best 4 years of my life.
Oh.
Yeah, because I grew a lot as like a woman, even though I was in college, like still, you know, academically, athletically. And one of the biggest reasons why I'm here in the space that I'm in, and the reason I even got to play pro, was because of my college coach. And I feel like not a lot of people can say that.
Yeah.
But I feel like she really saw something in me that was bigger than just New Mexico. Mm-hmm. And she made the effort with the other coaches, the assistant coaches, and one of the other managers to like make a video for me to send to the national team for Mexico.
Okay, nice.
So that's like how I even got to play for Mexico.
Very cool.
That would have never happened if like I didn't have coaches who were like, no, like you're able to play there. Like, let's make it happen.
Yeah. Like at the time, they believed in you.
Exactly. They believed in me, and like had no idea how to, you know, get double nationality. Or my parents were like, yeah, like let's do it, but like how do we start? I remember one of my assistant coaches drove with her husband all the way from New Mexico to like Lubbock, some part of El Paso.
Oh, okay, El Paso.
Yeah, that was my first encounter with Texas, but
El Paso. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But yeah, so then they took me to get my double nationality, all those papers, and then like because of that, I was able to play for Mexico, and that's how I got looked at for Club America. Oh. So yeah, shout out Heather Dyke.
Very cool. Wait, so I didn't know this. Did you get a couple caps with the Mexican national team?
Yeah, so I played first with the U20s.
Okay.
And then stopped for a while, and then ended up obviously straight out of college, went pro. Mm-hmm. Wasn't planning that, first off. That was a whole nother story. Like, wasn't even like, I was already interning for New Mexico United, and I was doing marketing. I was hung up the cleats. I don't think it really like hit me yet.
Oh wow.
I didn't process
you
it.
graduated college not thinking you were going to play after?
Yeah, well, I was in my senior year, so that's spring season. So college soccer is done, and I was interning, and I had no thoughts in my head about going pro because NWSL, I feel like it's just a different style play for me, and I wouldn't get much out of it.
And there were like 7 teams at that time when we graduated. Yeah. There was like very limited roster.
You're right.
Space.
Yeah, I forgot about that as well. And then Mexico, I wasn't too familiar with the league at all, so didn't look into that. And then randomly, like I got a call from, his name's Leo Cuellar. So he was the Club America coach at the time, called me and was like, hey, like, would you ever consider playing here? I'm like, no.
You said no?
Yeah, I said no. I'm like, I don't think I'd want to like live there. You know, I don't know anyone. It's super uncomfortable for me.
It's intimidating too.
For sure. A different country.
Yeah.
And I knew I could play, but I didn't know anything about the league at all. The style play. Right. The girls there, I had no idea anyone there, like nothing. Mm-hmm. So then he convinced me to go to Chicago to play a friendly with them and just kind of like see for myself like what it's all about.
Oh, cool.
And I remember it was like a week prior, didn't have any of my cleats. I was in California at the time. So I literally went to Dick's Sporting Goods. No. I kid you not, swear my dog. Bought like these $15, $20 cleats. And my dad was like, don't you want to like invest? Like, this is a big deal. I was like, no, it's fine. Like, I just need to play for like 2 games. Like, I'm not going to waste money on other cleats.
Yeah, fair.
And then I remember like getting those, and then I went, and it blew my mind. Like, I definitely like hit a wall with all of that, because the amount of like people that supported them, and like the girls were super nice, and it was competitive at the time, and like I just felt like kind of like at home with Club America, which is weird. And then I ended up doing really well, and I signed there, and then a week later packed my stuff.
Oh gosh.
Went to Mexico.
Yeah. You're like, by the way, surprise.
Yeah, surprise, I'm leaving. But my parents were super happy, obviously, and my grandpa like almost cried because he was like big Club America fan.
Yeah.
And I feel like now a lot more people know that, but at the time, like no one really knew that. Like my grandpa literally had like blankets.
I was
like,
about to say, yeah. I can imagine.
His whole room was just like Club America. And I think that was part of the reason why I'm like, okay, I'll try this out, you know, for my grandpa.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And how long did you play for them?
3 years.
Wow.
Which is
That's
such
a long time.
Really?
You're going to say short. That's pretty long, especially for one club.
That's true. That's a lot of seasons too. So in Mexico, it's year round, basically. You get a month off.
Like,
the
is
whole
it
year.
June? Or is it like a December, January break?
It's 2 seasons in a year.
Yeah, like half and half.
Yeah. Which I think is crazy.
Yeah.
And I've said that, yeah. Like, it's just a lot on someone that isn't from there. Like, a lot of the American girls, like, miss home. I missed home. And I think I, like, voiced that, too. I'm like, we should, like, have a longer break.
Go home for the weekend?
I want to, like, go take my dog for a walk for more than a week. You know? But it's definitely worth it. But, yeah, it was long season.
Wow, very cool. So, what year did you sign? Do you remember?
Me and dates are not.
No. We graduated 2018.
Okay, so I signed 2019.
Okay, nice.
Right?
Did you play through COVID then?
Okay, yes and no. So we were in season. Oh my God, crazy story. Okay, so
tell it.
Okay, well now I'm gonna like overhype it up, but like, got my first call up with the full team.
Okay.
One random practice, like literally woke up, went to practice. I was like not really expecting much. They already had their pool of girls for the tournament in Europe.
Okay.
It was Cyprus.
Okay.
So it was friendlies against Slovakia, Czech Republic, and someone else. I don't remember.
Maybe Cyprus.
Yeah. Oh, I don't even know what country is that. But like, I was at practice. Practice was over. And at the time, I knew I was doing really well. Like I was in shape. It was after... I don't remember. Anyways, good shape. You know when you like feel good, your body feels good, your mind feels good, you're just like there.
Yeah.
And then the coach kind of, Leo, pulled us in and was like, we have special news. Like there's actually another call up to the full team. I was in the very back. I don't think I was like, paying attention.
Oh my God.
No, it was one of those moments that like what you see in a movie. Like, oh, no. And I was like, clearly it's not me. Like, I wonder who it is. I can't think of anything. And then they said my name and I was like, you're joking. And I feel like people usually cry and like are excited, but I was so in shock that I was like a little awkward. Like I was like, okay. I was like,
I'm trying to envision.
Okay. You're like I said, okay. I don't know. I was like, I just nodded because he said it in Spanish too. I'm like, and then one of the girls was like, aren't you excited? I'm like, yeah.
Oh, it was
so bad. But I ended up going, did really well. The first minute I was in, so I went in the second half against one of the countries. The first minute I scored.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
That's so cool.
No, yeah. And then the unfortunate part is that I felt really good. It was on a high. I was going to come back and we had a game in Azteca Stadium, which is iconic. We played there a lot of times before that, but this time was different because my grandpa was going to watch me for the first time in person in that stadium for the team that he loves. The day before COVID happened, everything shut down. We're told to go back to the United States or else we'd probably get stuck there. So that was like a big pivotal moment in my career, just because when that happened, like they'd stopped for a few months, obviously.
Yeah.
But coming back, it was hard for me to like enjoy the game again. So I would say I gave it a year and then I stopped.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, COVID impacted obviously everyone, but like very differently. And so it's very interesting to hear that it was at that point in time. But that's so sad.
Yeah, it was sad. But it was like a weird impact just because it didn't affect me during COVID. I was completely fine training. I think it was just coming back and not seeing anyone in the stands. Like,
it's so different.
yeah, I was like, oh, it's fine. Like, whatever. I don't care that much. But I did.
It's a big part of the culture. Like you
Yes.
mentioned, the first thing that made you feel at home is like when you were in Chicago, that you're like, oh, I'm sure there were so many fans that came to watch.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
they knew that there was a game there because they kept in touch or they keep track of it. And there are probably a lot of fans like your grandpa.
Mm-hmm.
And so, after COVID, it did ruin a lot of things. Like it's hard to perform not in front of a crowd. It's also difficult to perform in front of a crowd, but once you get accustomed to it, that changes. It's very different.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think, and then I'm like thinking to myself, like, did I play soccer for the wrong reasons? Like, then you just get in your head and I'm just like, no, I like enjoyed soccer, but I did it until like I woke up and I was like, ugh, like I don't really want to go.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I don't know if like that happens to everyone or if that happened just because of COVID. Like, I still don't know. I need to work on that. But
I mean, everyone has their own reason and there's no really like perfect ending to someone's career. And sometimes you just wake up one day and you just don't want to do it. And sometimes we wake up one day and you're like in love with it and you're like, I can't see myself not doing this anymore. That might have just not been for you. And I'm sure you've been asked many times, like, do you miss it? Do you want to go back? I'll eventually.
every day.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like every day. Like,
Maybe that's something you need to think about and work through.
don't even get that in my head.
No, just something to think about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just like spend time, I don't know, putting yourself in that situation or like visualizing if you were there, like what would your life look like? And if you're not, do you still like it the way it is? Just kind of.
I genuinely feel like I would not be happy.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
and then I look back and then I'm like, okay, if I never stopped, I would have never experienced this, that. Like,
Yeah.
there's so many things where I'm like, no,
everything
this is
happens
worth
for
it.
a reason.
Yeah.
And you're clearly happy with what you're doing right now. And you know that if you weren't, that you have the ability to kind of change that and try
Yeah.
something new.
Exactly. I love that.
It's true. Okay, let's see. So we've kind of already touched on questions I was going to ask, but I like that it happened organically anyway. And so, yeah, one of my questions was going to be like, what made the decision to stop? So we'll skip that. Next question is that I'm sure people ask is, but do you play right now in any capacity for like a small team or like pickup?
Well, I do play pickup, and you're the best ref ever. No, I do play for fun. But yeah, it is for fun.
Yeah.
And I have to keep reminding myself that just because I feel like sometimes I'm weird. Like
You take it too seriously?
Yeah.
Or you're like, I didn't play good today. And
Yes.
It's like a pickup.
I'm like, what do you mean that was a good pass? That was really bad, you know? And
Standards are different because you're not playing with like that high level.
yeah. And I don't know if you get this. I'm sure you do. But like, they're like, oh, she played professionally. Like, she should be good. And then I mean, maybe I'm just crazy. But then like,
Or when they're like, you played professionally? I'm like,
yeah.
but you can't tell.
Yeah. I'm like, you can't tell. Just kidding.
Okay, my touch is bad, fine.
Yeah. But I don't know. I just feel like, I mean, soccer will always be something that like is a different switch for me.
Yeah.
Like even just playing for fun, unless it's like with, you know, like family or something. But I also feel like I need to like prove myself with some people that I play with, especially in LA. In LA, there's a ton of pickup games with really good players. And it's just really, it's competitive, which I love. But
Yeah, but I mean, I would say like give yourself grace because you're not on a competitive team. Like those people that are playing are probably like fresh out of a season or still in a season and just making an appearance.
that's very true.
So for you
Yeah.
to just hop in, like you're technically retired, right? We could say that.
Yeah.
So you're retired and you're hopping in and it's like, you know, even if you don't touch a ball for a day or a week, like it makes an impact.
Absolutely.
So for it to be maybe months or years for you,
Yeah.
that's normal.
Very true.
Yeah. But I get that. There's like a little pressure.
Yeah. It's like,
Wow. That's okay. Good pressure is good. Good question. What do you miss the most about playing soccer professionally?
that is such a good question. That is a really good question.
This might help you work through some things.
Yeah. I'm like, fine.
Inadvertently.
With Shiva. I would say the routine. And I know it's like pretty basic to say, but the routine of like getting up and just not even thinking, just like eating, getting ready.
Yep.
You have to be there. You have to be there at a certain time. You have to stretch. You have to put your cleats on. You like it. Now it's like my schedule's a little flexible right now. So now I'm not there's no urgency in my morning sometimes, and I miss that. I miss not like, as much as I love to sit on the couch and drink coffee and take my time.
Yeah.
Like I want to, have practice, have to do weights at this time, do sprints at this time. Like, I don't know.
I think that's very common. I hear that a lot in like interviews and when talking to other athletes who are retired, and especially when right out of college. So if it's like college and then you don't play after, because everyone's used to that routine. And for us, we kept playing, so we still had that routine. But when it's done, it's pretty similar to what people experience when they're out of college or out of high school, because they got used to it. And like you said, it's like clockwork. You wake up, you get ready, you have a nutritious breakfast, whatever your routine is, and that's set in stone. But when you're done, you don't have that. You have to make a new one. First of all, you have to do it for yourself. No one else is really holding you accountable. So it's more like an individual lifestyle as opposed to like a team lifestyle. Like other people are counting on you. So hell, dude, I have this problem.
That's so good. Yeah.
I have this problem waking up because for me, like I'm a sloth. I love to sleep. I will never I'm a morning person, not me. Never will be me.
Yeah.
Once I'm up, I'm like, oh, wow, what a beautiful sunrise.
Let's
and like
get some sun.
Let's seize the day. But now it's like when I wake up, I'm 120s are not on the line. My coach isn't going to be mad at me. There's like nothing forcing me to do that. And I miss that. And it's hard to do it on your own, truly, to like create that discipline.
Yeah. And that literally sense of urgency.
Yes. The sense of urgency. Yeah. Maybe with like a different type of like line of work. If I did that, I'd probably be able to reestablish that.
Absolutely.
But right now it's just not like necessary.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. Unless you throw some kids in there, but like.
Oh my God. That would be like no sleep. That would be from a lot of sleep to none.
Are you a night owl?
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually.
Do you feel like it's because you sleep in, or is it because you just have a lot more energy at night?
I think I have more energy at night because even when I was waking up early in college and stuff, I would still I'd get more inspired at night and I'd be like, okay, I'm ready to start my homework. Like now I can focus.
You're more of a thinker at night. I feel like that happens with me. I just
really?
Ooh, I have so many ideas. Like,
yes,
shoot, I have to be in bed in 2 hours.
Literally, same. Or I'll get in bed and I'm like, crap, I need to write this down, or I'm like, put it on my notes or something. Yeah. But I don't know why. I've tried to get myself out of it by going to bed early and waking up earlier. It just doesn't feel the same for me.
I feel you on that.
Night owl all the way. I don't know how we got there. Good thing I have questions. Okay, so we're going to talk about the transition. Okay. By the way, this is filmed at night.
Clearly.
Yeah, or the evening. Okay. What prompted your transition from being a professional soccer player into becoming an influencer? I think you kind of hinted at it with Ata, that was like an ambassador thing, but where do you think your career kind of took a turn where you were like, oh, I'm doing this and I can do this as a career?
I actually never intended to be an influencer, whatever you want to call it. I don't think I'm an influencer.
What do you want to call it? You are.
I don't know. People ask that all the time. I'm like, I don't really know.
What's it called? Like a social media something?
Like a content creator, but
yeah, okay, a content creator.
Yeah. I don't make content like... The reason I love influencers and I love a lot of my friends are influencers, but I just personally like respect what they do. Like making content every single day for whatever, soccer, cooking, like fashion, that is so hard.
It's time consuming.
It is a lot. Yeah. And I know it's on a 9 to 5, but people view it in different ways. But like I would like to do that, but I just think that that's not my passion. Okay. Like, this is going off topic now, but like basically, I went into influencing, I would say, whatever you want to call it, because of the attention I got when I stopped playing. So I stopped playing, and there were so many like, why'd you stop? Who is she? Like in Mexico, but it was like, she's so young, like what is she doing, blah blah. And I think I said like I wanted to focus on my future and like my business needs, and not that I knew what any of that was, but I kind of like came to me, like all the brands came to me because I was like authentic. They realized I was from the US, Hispanic, like played for Mexico here and there, so China just like came.
Yeah.
And
like
it hasn't left.
Right. That's cool. No, people, yeah, they were probably still interested. And like you mentioned, whenever you were done, they were probably curious to see what you were going to do next or why you stopped, since you were probably doing really well. They're like, wait, why did this player stop? She's young, right?
Exactly.
And it's up to it's up to the player. So I'm sure that was probably a little difficult because you do feel pressure to like explain or, you know, I don't know, just justify why you stopped. You really don't have to. There's more to life than soccer. And as much as I love it, there's more to life, and you can still be involved in it and not be a player.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think like that transition was like a little, it made me like take the foot off the gas a little bit. I remember coming back home and I was like, you know, I'm just going to give my mind a rest, give my mind a rest for 2 or 3 weeks. 3 weeks happened. And then I got invited to go on this TV show.
Cool.
And I was like, sure, why not? So it was on that for like, you would do really well on it.
What is it?
You would do so well. Better than me. I went into it, mind you, no one knows this, but I did not view a single episode. Not a single episode. Which was terrible. Terrible.
That's bad.
This TV show was not a dating show. It was not like, oh, like, let's see like what dress you would wear.
It?
No, it was an obstacle course every single day in the Dominican Republic. You go through the mud, like I drowned.
Wait, hold on. What? You went on this TV show? I thought you were going to be interviewed. It was like CBS or like Televisión or something.
I wish. That would have been a lot more relaxed. My cortisol levels would have been down.
What was it called?
Exlathon. Exlathon. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Is it a Hispanic
Ask your
show?
mom.
Oh, ask my mom.
Your mom would
My mom would know.
Your mom would know. Telemundo.
Oh my gosh. So you went on like this obstacle course show.
Yeah.
Those
so
are fun.
Basically, there's like a red and blue team, and every day you compete. You compete on your own. Oh God. Yeah. Well, a lot of things happened there, but there was no phones. You could only eat a certain amount of things. Like it was insane. Mentally insane. I was there for a month. Yeah. And if you lost, your team would sleep in a cabin, probably this big, with twin size beds. You're with grown men. All my team was awesome. Love them. They're like ex-athletes, ex-actors. Yeah. So very nice, but super uncomfortable. Like I did not know why I was going to be that uncomfortable. And like knowing me, I'm like, what did I sign up for? Yeah. It was too late.
Actually.
Like the first obstacle or drill, the producer was like, did you watch the show?
You're like, no.
I was like, no. I just cried. I'm like, what am I doing here?
Oh my God.
But long story short, towards the end, I didn't want to leave. The whole time I was like, oh, I just want to get eliminated. And then you get more competitive and your juices come back. And then like I ended up getting eliminated, but I started crying because I didn't want to leave. And everyone's like, are you good?
Was it like a team elimination or individual?
It was individual, but you get points as a team. And based on those individual points, if you win, you go to the mansion with the pool, good food, Nutella, like the only thing they give us, like anything that's not water, like there's orange juice.
Sounds inhumane a little bit.
Yeah, low key. Someone should be sued.
Oh no.
And then obviously you lost, you go to the cabin. You don't really get food really. Like breakfast was like hard boiled eggs, tomatoes, lettuce. That's it.
Your motivation for food is winning.
Yeah. And then we're on the same plot of land as the people from Survivor.
Okay, that's what it was. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was in the Dominican Republic, but the happy ending was I left. I was like, wow, that was a good experience. And was on a hotel, the Dominican Republic, by myself for a week.
Oh, okay.
Didn't have my phone yet, though.
Oh, my gosh.
So I went to like the pharmacy and I asked the lady if I could use her phone to call my mom.
Oh, my gosh.
Call my mom. Logged into my Instagram.
That's crazy. Yeah. Wait, so you went without like contact with anyone for a month?
No one.
Also, timeout. Yeah. For anyone who hears any bouncing going on throughout this episode, it is a sweet, sweet boy that lives upstairs.
It's his birthday.
His birthday. We tried to go upstairs to politely ask if they could not bounce during the recording, but it's someone's birthday, so we can't argue with that. Go off and happy birthday to our neighbor upstairs.
Go off. Keep bouncing. Just kidding.
Happy birthday. It should be your bedtime soon. Okay, so you're on the show and you don't have your phone for over a month, and then you're just like, hi, yes, I'm alive. Was it live? So were people No.
It was filmed like it was like a week thing. So
Okay.
that's why I had to, when I was eliminated, I wasn't allowed to have my phone because it would come out a week later.
Oh,
so once
okay.
that it came out, I was able to, they would bring my phone in a plastic bag with my flight. And anything I gave them.
This is
I
like
guess.
Hunger Games. I'm
Yeah.
gonna watch it wherever I can find it. Where can we find it for viewers listening?
I'll tell you later.
For viewers listening, come on.
Okay, YouTube. Go on YouTube. I forgot what season it was on, but
We'll find it.
I drowned. So that was a
what?
a life altering moment. For
Wait,
me.
did you like pass out?
Yeah, like I went underwater, came back up, and I was like, oh,
No way. Did they
Yeah.
have to do CPR?
oh no. Like I was drowning. I looked over, and they're like filming the whole time. Proceeded
Sorry,
to get
it's
out of
not
the
funny.
water. No, it's funny.
Okay.
It's funny. Someone dove in dramatically. My teammate, thank God, saved me. And they're like, hello? Like, she's drowned. The guy goes, can you do it again?
No.
Can you do the course again? And I'm like, no. And then like one of the guys on my team was like, you need to do it again. You need to overcome your fear. I'm like, I just drowned. Like, so I did it again.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then, yeah.
We're learning so much.
No, yeah, clearly. So did that show, and then now I had brand deals.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think you got brand deals from that show?
No,
Okay.
not at all.
But you at least gained personal growth from the show.
A lot of personal growth. Now I know I can be in a cabin and not eat and drown
And be
and
fine.
go through the mud. Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow. I don't have
Saying it out loud, I'm like, oh my God.
You should say that like as an interesting fact.
I should. I really should.
Put your finger down if you've ever been on. Yeah.
And drowned.
Important.
Yeah.
Important. Oh my God. Okay. So well, I guess we can just jump into the next part. It was going to be insights and lessons. What skills from your soccer career do you think you find most useful in your current role?
I would say,
Bounce.
thank you for giving me the time to think. I feel like there's just so many skills you can take away from being an athlete and being on a team, and also the work ethic. I would say work ethic. I
Yeah.
think that's pretty generic to say, but like the work ethic, because it's generic to say, but I really think like it makes you work harder for, like, for me, I was just talking to Tate about this. Like, I don't think I ever feel satisfied with the things that I do. I do it. I'm like, okay, next,
Yeah.
you know? And I think with soccer, it's kind of like that. It's like, you won a game, next game.
Yeah.
And I think that's affecting me in a good way, and probably in like not in a good way, but I'm taking it in a positive light just because, okay, like I can kill it at this and then kill it at something else and then maybe take a little break and then, you know, do something else.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of like my mindset right now, is kind of like, okay, like you can feel accomplished, but I'm like, okay, like what's next?
Yeah. Do you think you're an overachiever? Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like that's like really pick me to say,
No,
but
I would disagree. It's good. It seems like what I'm understanding is that, I mean, you're obviously like a high performer. You've performed at a high level, at a professional level in both things that you've done in your career. And it's okay to like constantly set new goals and achieve them, as long as like you might not be satisfied, but it's okay to like take a break, look back on what you've done, and like at least pat yourself in the back, because there's some pretty cool accolades that you've achieved.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's always great to like strive for more. I mean, that's the best thing about motivation, is that if you're intrinsically motivated, you're just looking to be the better version of yourself, or what more can Jen do? Like, how much better can Jen be at this? And as opposed to like, how much better can I be at someone else, or as someone else, or can I beat them, or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's just, you know, it just seems like it's like getting new skill sets. Like maybe next it's like you want to be a chef. I don't know. I'm just throwing something out there.
I need that.
Same. I haven't yet to dive down that avenue. Maybe together. Cooking classes?
Okay. No, actually, please.
No, seriously.
Okay, seriously need
Needs
that.
work.
Yeah.
We'll start with baking.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. That's a good one.
The holidays are coming. But
Sorry, random thought popped in my head. Would you say that you were competitive in soccer, so you use that in other parts of your life? Because I can relate.
yeah, definitely.
Like super competitive.
Super competitive. Probably to a fault. Like,
Yeah.
if we go play a little pickleball game, like I'm gonna win, or I want to win, and I'll be upset if we don't. Or even if it's at work, like I've been a recruiter before, and it was kind of competitive, like who can get the most people on board. And so I actually did really well and like was winning at that. And so I was like, okay, I like this because it's competitive. I don't know. I like, if, with school, with grades, like I want to get all A's. I want to get like a really good GPA. And so for me, it was, definitely competitive.
I love that. And I feel like you can see that. And I'm not just saying this, but like as a friend, just like in everything you do, like you do it exceptionally well.
I appreciate that. So I don't know if I agree, but I do try very hard. Like I'm one of those people that I'm not like inherently talented. I'm not like the best soccer player, but I have like probably 40% talent, but 60% work ethic.
Exactly. And I feel like it's your
mindset, yep. Mind goals. I mean, it's taken a freaking road to get to where I am, and the road's not done. Like I'm 28. So I know that there's more that I'm going to experience that will help me be a stronger young woman.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
It's all like a part of the journey. So
yeah. And well, I'm learning a lot from you. So, just from like the podcast, and like even now I'm like, you're right. I'm okay.
It's just about the way you like view things. It's perspective.
Yeah,
it's perspective.
For sure.
A lot of the time. Sometimes you just need a new like fresh mind to like, not mindset, a new fresh perspective to tell you, or I don't know.
I agree.
A fresh, clean slate.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate that. I'm glad I can help. Let's see. Okay. I want to ask. Okay, so for people who don't know you and they want to know who is Jen Munoz, how would you define yourself? Like, who are you? What do you do?
I would usually say I used to play pro soccer, and but I feel like I'm more than that. And I feel like I've recently realized that. I feel like I now walk into a room and I'm like, okay, I deserve to be here. I've done the work to be here.
Yes.
So I would just say I'm a hard worker who loves people, and I would say I'm definitely an empath. And I just hope to build the lives of like the kids. For example, the camps I do, I feel like they get so much out of it, not just on the field, but off the field.
Yes.
So I just want to be that platform for them to kind of go to the next level. And even if it's not in soccer, whether it's in school, or we even had like a mental health tent where my brother's girlfriend, Jessica, she's awesome. She like had like these worksheets of like how to deal with your feelings, or like sensory toys, stuff like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's just like anything that can help a kid or an adult kind of like excel to the next level in any part of their life. I like want to be a part of that. So I guess that answers your question. That was kind of all over the place.
No, it does answer my question. And that's so cool, because that's pretty much like what Mind Goals is about. It's about improving the mindset of others, or like hopefully being able to impact anyone who's listening, that they can take something away. And so you are actually doing a direct impact by, we can dive into it, by hosting camps. And so my next question is, could you tell us more about the camps that you do and what your involvement is right now with youth soccer?
Yes. So the camps I've done 2 camps. So the first one they're all free. So that's the most important part.
Cool.
I work with my agency. They're awesome. They kind of dive into more than the content, or more than the brands, more than the deals. It's kind of like, okay, like what's your passion project? And I said I think that's my passion project, because awesome. I enjoy doing that. I enjoy putting in the work to do that for like months prior. And I wanted to make it accessible for everyone. So I grew up in like an area where it was not, like, pretty low income. And I just remember that. And so I feel like I always have that with me in my childhood.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, what can I do for these kids that I didn't have? Thankfully my parents were really supportive, so they kind of like took me out of that. But the other kids are still there. Like their parents don't know any better. And that's not their fault. So I think with these camps, I'm like, okay, what can I do to support them on and off the field? So they're free. Thankfully we get a lot of sponsors to kind of like cover,
like merch, maybe.
Like merch.
What about equipment? Do kids have any equipment?
We give them soccer balls, backpacks. Now we gave them like mental health books.
Cool.
Band, stuff like that. So it's just fun. Like, it's not supposed to be like competitive. Like, no one's gonna get scouted from there.
Yeah.
But it's more so like, hey, give them a space in a few hours to like enjoy the game, but then like show them like what they need to do off the field.
Yeah.
So
That's
I
beautiful.
actually would love to have you next year in Houston. That'd be fun.
I'd love to.
Yeah, but kind of just do all of that. That's what it's based around, but it's fun. It's fun for me to like be there and like play with the kids and like show them what it's all about. And then there's an ice cream truck.
Cool.
There's canes, food, all of that. So
What's
it's a whole package. Yeah.
Sorry. What's the camp called? Like if someone were to try and look it up and sign up for next one.
You know, that's a great question. It's honestly just, it's Jen Munoz soccer camp. And it's usually I post it on my Instagram. There's like a little link. We're trying to figure out more ways to like put it out there, but I feel like Instagram just does its thing.
Yeah.
Like you put it up
It's
there.
a pretty good marketing.
Yeah.
platform.
Like the link was filled in like
Yeah.
30 minutes.
That's
And then we
awesome.
added more spots,
Yeah.
which I'm super grateful for. But now I'm like, okay, like I need to make it bigger now.
Yeah. How can you expand?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we're working on that. But no, I think my next project will probably be just for like girls, just to like kind of
Yes.
relate to them a little more. Because the boys are boys, but like I'm like I could really like get close with like the girls, and like I've been there
Yep.
as middle schoolers, like preteen, all of that. So
Yeah.
I just want to be that like big sister to them, but in a fun way, like
Yeah.
not make it so serious.
That's fun. Is it a day camp or a week long?
It's just a day camp, so it's from 9 to 12.
Okay.
So not that long,
Maybe
but
it'd be
good
cool
enough.
to do like a week camp.
Yeah,
Just
and
a
like
little-
have little workshops and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah,
Or like
that's
a
good
different
idea.
theme of the day.
Oh, those are always so fun growing up. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Well, cool. That's awesome. I've always had like with the moody lights. Taylor.
Does that mean we need to hurry up?
No, I don't know what happened. That's hilarious.
It's
It
kind
probably
of a vibe.
it is. If it looks fine, we don't have to change it. But anyway, the lights turn pink and blue right now. This is funny. My boyfriend has lights.
Oh, I forgot.
It's what? Oh, on a timer. Yeah. I was gonna say my boyfriend has lights that are hooked up, and whenever he gets close to the apartment, they'll turn on. So if I'm hanging out, lights will turn on. And like at first I was like, what is that? And you can mess with it from the phone. So if anyone's over and lights will turn on and off, he's either just messing with you or he's close in the
Wait,
vicinity.
that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
He just does it from his phone.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
I'll have to-
high tech.
I think it's the same thing that Taylor has. It was on a timer. I'll link it below. If
Link in
anyone's
my bio.
interested. But back on topic, I was gonna say, yeah, with Mind Goals, I want to turn it into something that's more beneficial to the public and specifically women in soccer, because I played in a lot of countries abroad, and it was difficult because the leagues weren't so developed at the time. So like you're not making a lot of money. It's no secret that it's a grind out there. But I want to be able to like somehow fundraise to be able to like help a certain amount of athletes to be able to like support themselves
love
if
that.
they're not getting that much.
I love that, because
So-
the amount of girls out there who are like, or guys who
Yes.
aren't getting any resources because one, the environment doesn't have it. Two, they have no idea where to start.
Exactly.
Like I didn't really know mental health was like that intense until I stopped playing, which is crazy.
Yes. And also to like my goal is to be able to provide that sort of resource for athletes as well, because I understand it. I've been there, and then I've like gotten my degree, and I'm working towards like a different certificate right now.
And I feel like you have the full circle. Like you have playing abroad, you know, in college, your ACL, like that's huge.
Look at me, you're just a full package about yeah.
Full package of gifts. I see it as like a strength, honestly.
Yeah, it's a blessing. And at the time, you know, obviously whenever I was going through all these certain things, I was like, this sucks. But I've always had the mindset of like, this is clearly for a bigger plan. It's clearly for something bigger than what it is. And like, even during my master's degree, when I was abroad and I was injured and I was like pretty depressed and just like in a low point, I was like, surely this is going to make me into a stronger person, and I'm going to be able to share something, which is actually this platform. I didn't know it at the time, but I was like, I need to be able to like show what I've been through to help someone else, or just like inform someone else. Like even if 5 people listen to this episode or any of the previous ones, hopefully they've gained something to where they can take it with them in their normal day to day and just like be 1% better.
I love that. And I feel like a lot of people struggle with finding that thing in the back of their head, like, no, it's gonna be okay, don't worry, like it's fine. Like I've had that, like where maybe not into your caliber, but like during this period of transition, wherever I'm at now, like there was a month where like I wasn't getting any deals at all. And in my head I'm like, what am I doing? Should I stop playing? Like there's doubt. But then in the back of my head I'm like, no, like I'm being dramatic. Oh, I'm gonna be okay. Like need to improve myself, go on a walk, like just get out of my head. And I think those little things do help so much. Yeah. Like as much as they're cliche to say, it's like, no, like go outside.
Yeah, no,
like, get off your phone.
No, actually, like it does sound cliche, but being on your phone, I honestly like want to throw it away sometimes, but I can't, because there are things that you need, like emails, contacting someone, like safety, whatever, maps. But I would love to like take a break for a week and just like not even think about it. But yeah, no, something as simple as going for the walk, like if anyone right now, if you're in a bad mental space and maybe it's just been like a day or a week or even a month, like moving your body is so crucial. Like being out in nature is so crucial. Getting enough sleep, like feeding yourself. Like I know those sound simple, but for if you are struggling, like I've really been there before. And so I would, literally go for a walk, talk to somebody, because like times get tough, but it's about like pulling yourself out of it, because there's not always someone that's going to be able to help you, unfortunately. So that's why I've like learned to train myself to help myself out of those situations. And so the goal is to like hopefully advise others on how to do it as well.
And I think even like hearing you say that too, like people don't even, I mean, I wouldn't like, I've been in a period where I like don't hear that, but once I hear that, I'm like, oh yeah, she's right. Like, gotta go.
Yeah, sometimes you just need to hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like for me, it's like constant reminders, like I'll write it down, or like I have a notes or something. But
journaling helps as well, I feel like.
Oh yes, you know me, I'm a big journaler.
Yeah,
like
you're like, such a good writer.
I'd be going thank you. I'd be going
even
through
your
my
text.
journals.
I'm like, oh my god, she's witty. Can never be that witty.
It's a blessing and a curse. It can get me in trouble sometimes, but yeah. As long as I'm making people laugh too.
Exactly.
In a positive light.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how we got on that, because we were talking about we're talking about your camps and stuff. So to bounce off of that, we've talked about what you've done. We've talked about what you're doing. What are your future goals for yourself?
Well, so I actually recently thought about this. I really, really, really want to make it a thing, like not just the camps, but hopefully the girls' workshop I'm holding. Like I really, really want that to be like a yearly thing, once or twice a year. And on top of that, I just like really, I feel like I've like made a name for myself, like on Instagram, like whatever, like I feel like the brand deals are great, and like I make sure they align with like me. So the recent one I did with Ford, like involved my mom, like that was genuine. Like always make sure of that, because I feel like Instagram can give people a different perception of me. And it's another story, but like I think doing genuine deals that help elevate my platform or help with a cause. I also really weirdly like obsessed with Pilates, and I really want to make a space for maybe incorporating like the girls with Pilates and soccer, like maybe hopefully owning like a Pilates studio with like an indoor soccer field with a yoga room, just like a community of just like peacefulness, and like something that I wish I have, honestly, like now. But yeah, and also just like being there for girls that hang up the cleats and want to do what I do or want to get into what I do, just kind of always being there. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know my purpose yet, to be honest. but
it's good to have like
passions,
like a passion or a goal. And like really I'm like the biggest optimist, I think. Like no goal is too far. Like you could tell me that you wanted to be, or maybe not the president, that's a silly one. You know what I'm saying?
No, thank you.
I'm good. But if you put your mind to it.
True.
But I'm really just a big advocate for like, if you set your mind to it, you really can do it. And it's just about like the work that you're going to put in behind. Yes, you need some luck along the way, you need to know some people, but truly if you dedicate your time to it and you're serious about it, people will help you. For example, Taylor, surprisingly, Taylor reached out to me because he believed in this project that I had, and he was like, hey, I'm on board, like I'm happy to help you. And I was like, no way. I was about to do it on my camera, like film this on my phone and like use a little mic. He was like, no, please don't do that, I'll help you out because I believe in you. And like he believes in like a greater purpose, and we're giving back in some fashion, and we're hoping to develop it.
And it's full circle, it's gonna come back, good karma.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Taylor's nodding.
It's all about, it's all about intention. I love
Yeah.
talking about that. And, you know, again, it's about intention. It's about like what you, if you're staying true to yourself and what you mentioned being an influencer, I'm going to say content creator, right? It does sound better.
Whatever.
Being a content creator, if you like know the best thing is to know your own values, your own morals, like who you are and what you stand for, and then to hopefully attract brands that align with that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've found the key to that. So I recently,
Ooh.
It's like, okay,
Tell us the secret.
well, the secret is just like being you. Like I feel like I used to just do random ones and I'm like, like that's not me. Like feels uncomfortable.
Yes.
And I think like the more I do something that's like what I want and like how I want it. So I'm the creative behind it. I tell them what to do. I do this. And then I feel like that attracts more brands because it's like, oh, that's her.
That's
like,
perfect.
That's literally her, you know?
This
Which is
is
so generic to say, but
no, it sounds so simple, but it's very it's clear that it's working, and it's clear that this is like a really good formula to getting what you want. Because
exactly.
I actually worked out of college. I worked for what would we call it? Like an athletic marketing company about NIL. So it was me helping athletes get onto a platform where we had brands waiting to pair with them. But the gap between it, or where I think that the company was at fault, was that it wasn't very authentic. It was like the brands choosing the athlete without really knowing who they were and asking like, hey, will you do this for like $100? Hey, will you post this for 500? And this person's like, I don't really know about this product. I don't really trust it, but they want to do it for the money. So then they're posting things that are like inauthentic to them. And so what we had like strategists in our company training our athletes to say, hey, why don't you market yourself to like who you are, what you like, and then that will lead brands to you.
I love that. Yeah, it's exactly what I feel like I do. And I don't really post. I do post personal life, but like not as much as I would like. Mm-hmm. Like I would love to post my feelings, but I can't. Well, not that I can't, but I just like, I don't know. I'm also not that person to like do that. But at the same time, it's like, I genuinely feel like if more people started doing like what they want to do, like you're like this, like this is awesome. And I feel like you post it on a lot of your socials and people gravitate towards that because it's relatable and it's something that's going to benefit them too.
Yeah, I appreciate that because for one of my core values is like authenticity. And even if I have a platform, the platform that I have, even if I want it to be like something bigger, like I still want to stay true to myself and like post the stuff that I post. Like, and if that strays certain people away, I'm totally fine with that because I only want to attract people that are bought into who I am, what I stand for, and like those people will find me and I'll find them. And the ones who aren't interested, that's totally fine. Like we're not going to agree on everything. And you know, if you're not interested in me, I don't want to.
Doesn't matter.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly. I love that.
So kind of similar. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Similar in the same thing.
Yeah. And I think I did think about that when I like quit soccer. I'm like, oh, like platform's going to go away. Like I was preparing for it. I was like, okay, well, whatever. And it didn't happen. Like I feel like people still like were there.
Yeah.
And it made me feel really like, I know it's just like followers, but like I feel like it's like, all right, they're not leaving just because I'm quitting soccer. Like they liked me, you know?
Cool. Yeah.
Which is, as an athlete, like it's like, okay, like you're more than just a soccer player and more than an athlete. It's like you're you. You're not defined for anything else other than being yourself.
Exactly. No, that's cool. And that's actually that's a really good point. I haven't experienced that because my social media is not blowing up. I'm on private. Well, I don't know. Like when I was playing pro and mine was public, I guess I kind of struggled with like random people knowing my personal life because I do like to post my personal stuff.
And I love it.
And so I don't want randoms like knowing what I ate for lunch or
where you are
or where I am. And I know there's ways around that, like post it later in the day. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I don't want everyone to have access to that. And so I go back and forth between making it like public or private. But when I was playing, I was like, I don't want randoms commenting on my stuff, commenting weird things because it happens.
Yeah, I'm sure it could affect you sometimes too.
Definitely. Like there's probably more for you. There's probably more comments that are like unwanted, rude. Like the internet is crazy. People will say whatever they want because they're behind a screen and there's like no
filter.
There's no filter. There's no accountability behind it. You can truly say whatever you want without thinking about the repercussions. And
Isn't that crazy? Like people just have that much access to you. But then again, it's like you can set up a boundary.
Correct. I was going to say you only have access to what you give them access
Exactly.
to.
I love that.
Yeah. And then the other thing to like keep in mind about social media is like everyone's going to have their own perspective, own perception. So like I could post a picture like sitting here just being like, oh, hanging out with Jen, and someone would be like, oh my God, I don't freaking know. They want they want to know that she's like in a guy's apartment, and I'll be like, what?
Yes.
Like, how did you gather that from this?
Touching on that, well, not exactly that, but I feel like people's perception of, I mean, it can be me, you, like anyone on social media, like your mom, like they just, not everyone, but I feel like a lot of people maybe have a misperception of a person more than 80% of the time.
Yes.
Like I get a lot of the time like, oh, like based on your Instagram, like you're very talkative, you're very crazy, you're very like blah blah blah. I'm like, that's actually the opposite. Like, oh no, they meet me, I'm just like, oh, I can't give you that much. Like, just me, like, you know. So it's like I feel like I've learned that through social media too, like not just with me, but it's like approaching people with like as if you don't know what they've been through, who they are. It's just like they're a human being. Like,
yes.
And it's like, okay, like everyone could be having a great day or a bad day. It's like how you approach and how you make them feel, and just like the encounter with someone is so important.
Yes. A face-to-face encounter is way different than an encounter online.
Yeah.
And so many things can be misconstrued online, and it's much more authentic, and I think that's another word.
Or like the intimidation factor of like people won't sometimes like say hi to me because they don't think I'd say hi back. I'm like, that is the last thing I would do.
You're like say hi.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah. Online perception. It's crazy, and it's like it started with our generation, really. Like we grew up with all of this. Like, and
and even TikTok and like during COVID, that was when it took off.
Yes. Yeah, that's a whole nother story. Oh my gosh. Because I mean, we as our generation and everyone else who watches, like the consumers, we've made it possible for people to have jobs like you, which is really cool.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Which is really cool, but it can be used in a good way or it can be used in a bad way.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's obviously people have their own decisions on how you go about it, but grateful that it did happen. Cause then I feel like even like podcasts weren't like as huge, you know? So that's another positive part to take away from it too.
Good point. I like didn't even think I would ever start a podcast. I just knew that I had to start talking about stuff, and no one was gonna, I love to write, and no one was gonna like read the news article of the day, you know, be serious.
It's like on an iPad.
Exactly. I mean, I love it, and eventually maybe I'll do a newsletter, but I can't do like a newsletter for a whole episode.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You could do like 4 or 5 pages.
Oh, we'll see. A lot for me. I could try it out and see who would actually listen. Maybe I'll put like a voiceover version. In the end, I'm doing the same thing. You know what I mean? We'll see. Okay, we are getting short on time, but you actually did touch on like all the questions I wanted to ask, because I was going to ask, you did give advice, but I was going to say, if there is someone graduating college or transitioning out of their professional career, whether it be soccer or another sport, what advice would you give them if they wanted to pursue a career like yours?
I would say the main thing, if they wanted to pursue a career like mine, would be get out of your comfort zone, whether it's like mentally or if you're feeling like you're, you know, mentally or physically. So it's like moving to a different country, maybe not that extent, or do that. But kind of just like taking on challenges that you don't think you're capable of. So kind of believing in yourself, but in a realm of like, get out of your comfort zone. Like you don't think you're going to do it, like just do it, see what happens.
Right.
So I think that's kind of helped me kind of like elevate my platform, and not just that, but elevate the person that I am. Obviously I need a lot of work. I feel like, you know, like everyone does, but I think I'm moving in the right direction with just like going for the things that come my way. And even if they don't come your way, like look for them. Like you always should be, you know, working twice as hard as the person next to you or the person that's not even around you.
Nice. I love that.
Yeah.
So quotable. And just to touch on that, like we are always evolving beings. So like we can always improve. We can and I think a lot of the time, like what you mentioned, is kind of take the risk, because you never know. And you can take the risk, and people will fear what happens if it goes wrong, but you also don't know what happens if it goes right.
Exactly. That was perfect.
And I've been on both ends. But again, full circle, it's all for a greater cause. Like, it's all part of your journey.
Everything, even failing. Like, the amount of
Exactly.
times I've recently been like, what did I just do? But it's fine. Like, you're alive, you're healthy. If you're not healthy, like, just believe. And I don't know.
You learn from it.
Yeah.
And anything is not a setback. It's just a redirection. And that sounds cliche as well, but it's so true. It's so true.
I love that.
You can use anything. You can use failure, success to make yourself better or help others as well.
Yeah. And I truly feel like you have to believe it, because even hearing that, I used to be like, ugh, you know?
It's repetition. You need to tell yourself.
Yeah. It's literally everything you speak out into the world, which I've been working on as well. Sometimes I'm like negative, but not on purpose. I'm just like, no. Like,
I'm so big on self-talk.
I need to be positive, because everything I say is going to happen. It's manifest.
It also, I would challenge that thought, because it doesn't always have to be positive, as long as it's not like like tearing you down. So it's okay to like have a bad thought and like say that out loud.
You're right.
But as long as you're not like tearing yourself down or be like, I'm going to fail, or
Or like,
this.
I'm dumb.
Exactly.
Or
Yeah, those things.
For sure.
If they're not constructive is what I like to say.
Yeah. That's a good point.
A little check and balance. You say something, you're like, okay, why did I
like,
say
I
that?
shouldn't have done that, which you shouldn't have done that, you know?
Yeah. I'm so big on self-talk. I could talk like a whole episode for that, because I love that. I'm so big
That's
on
so
it.
important.
Yeah. Because you say it out loud, but then you're probably saying things maybe 5-10 times worth in your head that you're not going to say out loud.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just be kind to yourself. Okay. And the way that I normally leave or end my episodes is by giving my guests the floor to kind of say anything else they might feel like they've left out. You can either leave it with a quote, a shout out, or again, some more advice.
Okay.
So, I know I always do this when I
let's
put
see.
people on the spot.
Okay. I would say one of the things I would hope that people take away is like, as great as life is on social media, it's probably is or it's not. And I think you have to stay in your own path and in your own lane. And even myself, like you shouldn't compare yourself to anyone else or any other experiences or where you are in life, because the more you focus on yourself while helping other people that are, you know, genuinely in your path, like you're going to be successful. Like if you stick to yourself and your morals and your beliefs, and everything will work out by itself. And I think you made a good point of like, kind of like the give and take of, yes, be hard on yourself, but also like give yourself grace. Giving yourself grace is so important, especially in this world. Like life is hard.
Yeah.
Like you can think of anyone in the world and think that they have a perfect life. No one has a perfect life. So I think just taking that with a like day by day and taking life day by day is important.
Cool. I love that. And I appreciate that a lot. And I just, I resonate with everything that you said, because the part that you said at the beginning with you, like not staying in your lane, but just staying true to yourself. That is like, I'm really big on that. If you mix up my words. If you stay true to yourself, you know your intentions, you know like your goals and how you're trying to get there. Other things, like it's just noise.
Exactly.
It's just noise and it's just distractions. And so it's good to stay focused, and your path will align the way that it's meant to.
I love that.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I'm so happy we were able to make this happen, and I wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors. Hopefully I'll be in some of them.
You will.
And hopefully
No questions
you're in
asked.
some of mine.
Absolutely.
But I'm so glad to have you in Houston. I'll probably see you this weekend.
Yeah, I'll see you Saturday.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me, and I really appreciate your time, like genuinely. And again, like I've said this before, but like you're doing great things. Like you are so smart and well spoken and good head on your shoulders. So I'm really proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And again, thank you for your time, because Jen's a hot commodity and time is valuable. And so
Time of the world.
I truly do appreciate it. Like this means a lot to me, and I appreciate you coming on and being vulnerable and just giving the advice that you have. I know that you've helped a lot of people who are listening, and again, I really appreciate it. And so thank you again.
Love you.
Love you too.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you all. If you want to connect with Jen, I'm going to tag her Instagram in the bio. And thank you so much. Have a great Thursday.